90 minutes to 9. Marina Chapman came to Britain about 45 years ago, got married, lived with her husband in Bradford and raised a family. But that's where the ordinary details of her life end. To say that she's had a remarkable upbringing as a child is no exaggeration.
Yes, Marina has an extraordinary story about her childhood, that she was abducted from her village in South America when she was 4 years old and abandoned in the jungle, struggling to stay alive. She says she came across a group of monkeys who accepted her into their family and effectively raised her for a number of years. Marina is here now to share her story alongside her daughter, Vanessa. Well, it's a very good morning to you. It's absolutely lovely to see you. Marina, it is an extraordinary story. And in fact, some would say unbelievable. So why don't you tell us the story, if you can, a sort of potted history. At the age of 4 or 5, you were playing in your back garden.
For my birthday. I was waiting for my big birthday. My mother never turned up, or maybe they couldn't find me. I felt frustrated because I was very lonely in the jungle for some days, and until obviously I met the monkeys and things began to change. They didn't accept me straight away. It took me a long. Nobody seems to want me in the jungle. You know, if it's just a kind of isolation, loneliness. And the fact is, when they start to appear, things begin to change. You know, I felt more like with something.
And how long did you live with them for?
We research. We think about 5 years. Yes.
Although, of course, it's hard to tell. Yes. No calendars in the jungle when you're...
Just all researching by the hair, the length of the hair. Apparently the hair grows 1 centimetre a month, something like that.
And this all because you were playing outside your house one day and you were abducted. Now, you believe that you were born and grew up for the first number of years of your life in Colombia.
Yes, I do.
At a time when the abduction of children was not rare. I mean, unfortunately, it did happen.
It is common.
And you were a victim of that. You then had this experience in the jungle, and then after a number of years you escaped from the jungle, but unfortunately it was a case of out of the frying pan into the fire, wasn't it? Because you were then having to live in a brothel for a number of years.
That was horrible. Yes, it was. I was beaten because I had no discipline. I couldn't grab a bread or anything because I used to have that kind of feeling, just see food and grab it and run away. And I used to get beaten by it. And it was horrible because food in the city was plenty. And to see that, you don't have to look for food anymore. It was really harsh.
Another difficult experience.
Yeah.
Vanessa, you grew up listening to these stories from your mother, but how is it it's taking so long for this story to come to light? You decided to start writing a few years ago, didn't you?
Well, 2007 I started, but I think for us it's just our family story, and we have just grown up thinking this is completely normal. And it's only until I thought it would be great, you know, no offence, but Mum was getting older, and I thought it'd be great to preserve this story in her memory before, before family forget and we can't pass it down.
It must have been unusual, though, to have a mum who, as we've seen from pictures, was so good at climbing trees.
Yeah, it was so, again, it's really normal. We all climbed trees together. We'd do roly-polies down the hill in the park. She would catch our pets. She didn't like pet shops. And then she would release the pets because she didn't like them in cages.
So you caught a wild rabbit for
Mopsy.
Did you?
From the Yorkshire Dales. She caught us.
Shock of my life. They saw me catching rabbits and they just thought, kind of mother is this?
It was full of fleas.
And what about family grooming?
Oh yeah, we should have a bit of that.
Yes, I still do it.
We still do, yeah.
My grandson
going through our hair,
it.
scratching our back. Me, my sister and my mum, we just...
I can't stop doing that.
Really?
It's comfort. That was what felt when I was feeling lonely in the jungle. If you one of the monkeys come and stand on your shoulders and then hold your face, it's the best thing happened to you as a child, because you had no comfort for anybody.
Having had such a dramatic beginning to your life, just how did you end up in Bradford?
I don't know idea. I think a destiny chooses you, really. You know, you never know where you're going to land. And I really believe that, maybe something to do with the destiny choose you.
Vanessa, there must be people, even listening to the story now, who think this simply cannot be true. You know, a child abducted who is then raised by monkeys, who then escapes to a brothel in Colombia, who then ends up being a housewife and mother in Bradford. When people say, I simply don't believe it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Well, I think it's ordinary to not believe it because it is completely extraordinary for, I think, people in England. But it doesn't bother us at all that people might say, you know, liars or whatever, because we're secure in the fact that it is just our story. And if you would have been raised by a mum like mine, you would have known that it just matches and it makes sense.
And you remember one particular incident very vividly when you ate something that was poisoned.
I know.
And you were saved by one of the
It looks like it's a squashy like a pea, and the middle is all sticky like a tamarind. Tastes like dates, a little bit, between dates and or dry fruit like that. And I ate so much. I think I ate too much.
And then what?
I felt really like chivery and and fried, you know, so shaking, and my stomach was in pain.
And how did the monkeys help you?
Well, I never thought the monkey wanted to help me. I thought he was trying to kill me. I didn't understood at the time, but he was just really hard monkey, and he's got a lot of power in his hands, so he can push you in. And I thought he was going to
push your head under the water.
Yeah, they do. They got a lot of power, and he didn't use the other arm. He had one arm poly.
And that made you feel. That made you feel better.
After I drank so much water, I did drink a lot of water and then vomit. You know, I wonder if it's something to do with vomiting the
Clearing out your
poison.
system.
I had no idea how to go.
And that was one of your first encounters, of course, with the monkeys.
And I just realized when I looked into his face, I thought, he's not a bad monkey. I felt, you know, you feel better.
He saved your life?
But it was a horrible feeling. It really was painful.
It's an extraordinary story. Thank you very much for telling us about it this morning. Thank you. Wish we had more time to talk to you. Thank you.
And the whole story is in a book, The Girl with No Name, the incredible true story of the girl raised by monkeys, and it is out tomorrow.